Okay, at 7 o'clock, I'll call this meeting of Monticello City Council to order. First item on the agenda is a roll call.
Mr. Frericks?
Here.
Ms. Stevens?
Here.
Ms. Harlan?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Ms. Boat?
Here.
Mr. Brock?
Here.
Mr. Burris?
Here.
Mr. Kuhn?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Public participation. This is an opportunity for the public to provide public comment to the presiding officer, the mayor. At this time, members of the public are able to attend public meetings by web conference and to submit public comment by email, voicemail, or through web conference. Public comments must comply with all adopted rules and be limited to 5 minutes or less. The city clerk will arrange to have one email or voicemail per person presented for up to 5 minutes each. Web conference participants should ask to be recognized for public comment by using the chat function. Access to City Hall and council chambers will not be permitted. Please provide any comments in one of the available means listed above. And I might remind everyone before we hear any public participation. Background noise makes this difficult. So those of you who call in or whatever, make sure that you try to keep the background noise where you're hooked up to a minimum, please. All right. Any public participation this evening? Any public participation this evening? Do you get anything, Jill?
I did not. I just checked.
Third and last time, any public participation this evening? Hearing none or seeing no requests, let's move on to the consent agenda. Approval of documents and action items is listed. Claims report, claims dated May 27, 2020 through June 8, 2020. Meeting minutes, city council meeting minutes, May 26, 2020. Fire report, May 2020, and permit report, May 2020. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Tim.
Second. Tom.
Thank you, Tom. Any comments or questions before we proceed? Hearing or seeing none, let's have a roll call, please, Jill.
Mr. Frericks?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Stevens?
Yes.
Ms. Harlan?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Boat?
Yes.
Mr. Brock?
Yes.
Mr. Burris?
Yes.
And Mr. Kuhn?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the mayor's report. Before I read the proclamation that I have this evening, I want to do the rest of my report. The Piatt County Emergency Management has launched HyperReach, a mass notification system. Residents can sign up to receive alerts from Piatt County, but please keep in mind dual notifications may be received if they are already signed up with the city's program Regroup. The Monticello Farmers Market begins next Thursday, June 18th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on North State Street by the Monticello Community Building. Allerton Park Summer Concert Series will look a little different this year with a concert cruise. Allerton has partnered with WILL Radio for a live streamed concert featuring Victor Krause on Saturday, June 20th from 7 to 9 p.m. Participants will be able to purchase drive-in meals from local restaurants, and Monticello Main Street is providing a map of downtown stores, which are encouraged to stay open later that evening. I would at this time like to thank city staff, the Monticello Police Department and the Piatt County Sheriff's Department, among others, for their efforts in making Saturday's demonstration for justice and peace a safe and successful event. I was impressed with the organization of the program, the excellent speakers, and the enthusiasm of the participants and spectators. The residents of Monticello did themselves proud, showing our community with its best foot forward. I have a mayoral proclamation celebrating 40 years of the Piatt County Historical and Genealogical Society. Whereas it is the intention of the mayor and city council of the city of Monticello to focus attention on noteworthy occasions and individuals and organizations, and whereas America's progress has been driven by pioneers who think big, take risks, and work hard, and whereas it is important to document, report, and educate the community on the historical events that led to what Monticello is today, and whereas seeing a need to collect, retain, and make available to the public the historical records and accountings of Piatt County, the Piatt County Historical Society was formed in 1918 and in 1979, discussed and officially became a joint historical and genealogical society combined. And whereas over the years, the society achieved substantial tasks such as fundraising for space rental to physically house the operation and documents, collecting and documenting donated historical assets, modernizing records by creating digital scans of documents, and providing educational events like the Voices from the Past cemetery walks. And whereas this year, the Piatt County Historical and Genealogical Society, under current leadership of officers D. Lund, President, Kathleen Foster, Vice President, Kay Gilbreth, Secretary, and Maynard Surrey, Treasurer, celebrates 40 years of serving the Piatt County community. Now, therefore, I, Larry Stoner, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Monticello, county of Piatt, state of Illinois, do hereby wish to honor and celebrate the Piatt County Historical and Genealogical Society for their contributions and service to Piatt County and city of Monticello, and ask that all citizens join with me and the members of the city of Monticello City Council in wishing them all the best as they can continue to serve the community. Kudos to a fine organization. Moving on, new business. There was a little mix-up. The two things that we will be considering are ordinances rather than resolutions. So it's ordinance 2020-28, amending chapter 111 of title 11 liquor code. Callie?
Thank you, Mayor. Those of you who are not aware, a Class H liquor license allows any liquor license holder with an A, B, C, or J liquor license to serve food and or beverages to the patrons seating and tables in the sidewalk area adjacent to their establishment. So obviously this has become kind of a well-used thing in the last couple of weeks. The ordinance currently allows for 6 Class H licenses, which were all occupied by existing businesses, with the exception of Monarch. And since Monarch opened last Thursday and Bergey's was not, and Pete Bergstrom owns both of them, he surrendered his Bergey's Class H to allow for Monarch to operate last week, and Bergey's was closed last weekend anyway. And so this would create an additional one so that Bergey's can again have a Class H license.
Are there any comments or concerns?
Is Fieldhouse open?
Is there a motion to waive second reading?
So moves.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please, Joe.
Mr. Frericks,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Ms. Harlan,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Boat,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Burris, Mr. Burris,
No.
and Mr. Kuhn.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 20-28, amending Chapter 111 of Title 11 Liquor Code to allow for Bergie's to have a license.
So moved.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Tammy. It's tricky, doesn't it? Okay. Any comments or questions of Callie?
Callie, is Fieldhouse open?
Fieldhouse is not open yet.
Do they have intentions to open, do you know?
I talked to her last week. She's just playing it by ear at this point. They plan to reopen.
Any other comments? They're going to reopen. I know they are. Any comments or any more comments or questions? Hearing or seeing none, can I have a roll call, please, Jill?
Mr. Frericks,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Ms. Harlan,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Vogt,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
No.
Mr. Kuhn.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to ordinance 2020-29, amending Chapter 111 of Title 11 Liquor Code. Callie?
Thank you, Mayor. As you have all heard and hopefully seen and experienced, the parklets are going very well. They allow the restaurants to operate in a sense that's a little closer to normalcy, as close as we can get. But the city needs to update the liquor code to allow for this adjustment longer than a several day period. So the proposed amendments to the liquor code are they add the addition of parklet to the application requirements to the chapter, and then the verbiage providing the flexibility of the length of term, and then the requirements as it relates to insurance to allow for that outdoor service on public property.
Any comments or questions? Is there a motion to waive second reading of ordinance 2020-29, amending Chapter 111 of Title 11 Liquor Code?
We'll move.
John, is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Mary, thank you. Vote, please, Jill.
Mr. Frericks,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Ms. Harlan,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Vogt,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
No.
and Mr. Kuhn.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2020-29, amending Chapter 111 of Title 11, the Liquor Code?
So moved.
Thank you, Tammy. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Any comments or discussion?
How long is this good for? Is this just a temporary for this period, or will this extend?
So at this point, we are just issuing the parklet concept until the end of August, so the 31st. This is just kind of, we've had some discussion already about, is this something we want to do every year? I think we need to see it operate under normal circumstances before we make that decision. So this should allow, hopefully next month they'll be allowed to at least have a reduced capacity inside, but the feedback overall has been great. So I think we should continue it through the summer.
So this would go through like in September. If they wanted to go through September, we'd have to approve it again.
Wouldn't have to. The application at this point, which is all approved in-house at the staff level, that we could probably just amend that if that's something we're interested in.
Okay. But if we wanted to do this again next year, we would need to pass this ordinance again.
No, this would actually add this concept into the municipal code. Some of the recitals are specific to the COVID-19, but it's entirely up to the council.
Anyone else? Can I have a vote, I guess? Do I have yeah, I have a motion. Can I have a vote, please?
Yes. Mr. Fraggs,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Ms. Harlan,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Boat,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
No.
Mr. Kuhn.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to Alderwomen's reports. Pam Harlan,
I don't have anything tonight. Thank you.
nothing tonight. Thank you. Tammy Sebens,
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
thank you. Mary Vogt,
I appreciate the work that the city and Monticello Main Street did to make the parklets happen. The last time we met, it was a concept, but not yet brought to fruition. And I had a chance to go out to lunch with some coworkers last week, and it was really nice. So I appreciate the opportunity that our restaurants have to be open, and the work that it took and the collaboration to get everything set up.
thank you. How about Mike Kuhn?
Just to echo your sentiments about the Allerton concert. We're going to miss actually having it in person, but I think this would be a good sort of backup to that. I think it'll be a nice evening, so invite everybody to participate.
Thank you. Rodney Burris,
Yeah, I wanted to echo your appreciation to the Hyde County Sheriff's Department, our local police, especially our police chief who shortened his vacation Saturday to be here for that whole rally and the whole peaceful protest. It went very well, and I think a lot of people got to air a lot of opinions and open up discussion about stuff. So I think it was a great situation.
thank you. Tom Reed,
I guess I'll piggyback on the same comments too about all the work that the staff did to get ready for the event on Saturday. I know a lot of people put a lot of time in on that, and glad to hear that it went well. So,
John Frericks,
I guess I'll just change it up a little bit. I just want to say I'm glad to see that Wendell Brock and I both enjoy hanging our pajamas on the wall.
John, you
Thanks,
would not
John.
believe, John, what that is hanging behind me.
Wendell, it's your turn.
I want to again with the rest of them on that. I have something I want to bring up to Terry, and while he's here, I guess we have a house on East Washington Street on the entrance into town, south side. I'm sure he's looked at it. We definitely need to get on the owner or the real estate person or something. The grass is 2 feet tall, and it looks tough coming into town from that way. I'm sure maybe you've already tried to chase it, but house is unoccupied and definitely in bad shape as far as the grass is concerned. So if we could take a look at that, I'd appreciate it. My only other thing about the situation on the weekend, I'm certainly glad it went off well, as everybody was. I'm sorry I wasn't here in town, but I had other obligations. I want to thank the gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen that own the Mexican restaurant uptown, that they had the courage to remain open Saturday evening. And I really wish that the pub and the Ravens had chimed in with them and offered folks the opportunity to eat on Saturday night in downtown Monticello. As it turned out, I think the situation up there was completely cleared out by 2 or 2:30 in the afternoon. And I really hated to see them lose their Saturday night business. I'm assuming aired to the side of caution. I don't know if there's anything particularly to be afraid of, but I wish they'd have both opened. But that being said, I'm glad the Mexican restaurant was, and I saw standing room only crowd there Saturday night. So I'm happy for that. But other than that, things are good. I believe we're heading in the right direction.
Thank you. Terry Jones, police report.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate being here this evening. Yeah, I did get, the chief provided a thing that he would like for us to say. It's about the protest that was held on Sunday, June 6, 2020. That began early in the week with the assistance of many contributing agencies. Assistance was provided by the Illinois State Police, Pike County Sheriff's Department, Aaliyah's Mobile Field Force, BMIP Police Department, Kirby Ambulance, Monticello Fire, Cisco Fire, Mid-Pipe Fire, Monticello Public Works, Terry Summers, and Jill Potts. Our day began at around 9 a.m. at the police department with Ron Burse offering a prayer. During the event, there was minimal incidents of fireworks and loud music from someone not involved in the organization or the organized group. There was only one medical incident. The person was overheated, and it was dealt with by Kirby Ambulance and Monticello Fire. Mr. Brock, I want to address what you were saying about that grass issue. Yes, we have looked into it. We were dealing with a company out of Texas, a mortgage company, and that mortgage company, during the process of me dealing with them, had sold a mortgage to a company out of California. And today I just received that they had received our notice about that, and we should be looking at trying to get something accomplished this week. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Is John here tonight?
I am. I'm here.
Go right ahead, please.
Okay. I want to thank Terry for recognizing Monticello Fire. We were a participant in Saturday's event. With that being said, as Terry did mention, Cisco Fire Protection and Mid-Pipe also assisted on that. We really appreciate the assistance from other Pike County fire departments having our back, and we will continue to have that relationship with Pike County, other Pike County emergency medical and fire departments. Last month, we did 8 hours of live training over at our training grounds. Very useful for our firefighters, and we continue to do that. Last month, we ran 39 calls, 32 medicals. Not any really interesting calls to bring up this month. So that's about all I had for Monticello Fire. Thank you.
Thanks for all you do, John. City Administrator's report. Terry?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I got just a couple of things. First, to the tall grass nuisance violation. Alderman Kuhn reached out to me late last week. He had a phone call on another property, and I think we're going to revisit that specific part of the code in the very near future. I know this time of year there's always the issue with the grass clippings on the roadway as well. So that's something that we will be working on and bringing up to City Council's for discussion and some kind of changes to that nuisance ordinance. And then lastly, this will sound like a broken record. This past Saturday was the demonstration for Justice and Peace event. That planning for that started out on Wednesday morning of last week, and I was very proud to be a part of that meeting. The meetings continued until through Saturday morning. We met Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, Friday, and again Saturday morning. Monticello Police Department, the entire department, particularly Chief Carter, like you mentioned, shortened his vacation to come back, but in his absence, Lieutenant Jones and Officer Schumard filled in very well. Pike County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Hunt and Chief Deputy Mackey were at all of those meetings and assisted at every step of the way. DMED Police Department was involved on Saturday. Kirby Ambulance Service was involved on a Friday meeting, and here Saturday, Monticello Fire and Rescue, Cisco Fire Department, Mid-Pike Fire Department. Kirby Ambulance had a backup ambulance service just in case. The plan was very impressive. I'd like to give a special accolade to Officer Schumard with the Monticello Police Department for drafting that plan. I think it was an outstanding plan. It all went well Saturday. The other groups, I believe, were mentioned. I think they totaled 6 or 7 law enforcement groups. And Senator Chapin Rose also reached out and offered any assistance that he might be able to provide. Public Works Department, Public Works Director Jim Gabarzik, Administrative Assistant, City Clerk, and Comptroller Jill Potts. There was a lot of people and a lot of planning and a lot of hours that led up to and throughout Saturday. So I was very proud to be a part of that. And I think all those entities mentioned several times today need a lot of kudos, and when you see them, say thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything to add?
Mr. Fredericks, are you there? John, are you there?
Me? Yeah, I'm here, buddy.
How are you? Before we leave, I want you to know that piece on the wall behind me is the gown that my 32-year-old daughter wore home from the hospital right after she was born. It's been hanging there a long time. It doesn't say anything about my greatest baseball team in the world, but it was certainly worn by a star, and I appreciate you picking it out. Have a good night. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Just checking.
Yeah, I got you. Anyway, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
See y'all